The human immune system is a complex balancing act. When we have an infection or a disease to fight, our immune system upregulates or becomes stronger to battle the infection. Too much immune activity, however, can lead to an overactive immune system, which is the case with autoimmune conditions. Medicinal mushrooms have been shown to have an immunomodulating effect, meaning they can help keep the immune systems to stay in balance, stimulating it when there's something to fight and downregulating it when it's overactive. Helping to regulate the immune system is one of the greatest known superpowers of all medicinal mushrooms. And joining me today is Gina Rivers Contla from Host Defense, which is the leader in beneficial mushrooms. Welcome to the show, Gina.
Hey, Bryan, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming back on the show because, it's getting that time of the year that we really need to start focusing on our immune system and doing what it takes to build the immunity function. And I know most people think about, of course, echinacea, they think about vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc, all the basic nutrients, but not many people really think about mushrooms yet. And we need to bring that to the light and help people understand why mushrooms are so important for your immune system and so many other things. And I know you're the best person to talk to about it. So why don't we just start by diving into what are the benefits of mushrooms?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, before we dive into the benefits of mushrooms, I just want to mention, because you mentioned it's the time of year that people start thinking about their immune system. But what a lot of people don't realize is that our immune system is working for us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It never takes a day off. It's always monitoring the environment. It's always monitoring what's going on inside of us. And that is what the beautiful thing is about taking beneficial mushrooms. You can take beneficial mushrooms on a daily basis, and they benefit you in so many different ways. But one of those ways is by really bolstering and working almost hand in hand with your immune response. So it's at its best. So it is alert and aware of everything that is going on around you and inside of you. So I would say that mushrooms are probably fairly well known in the natural supplements industry for supporting the immune response. And they do that by interacting directly with our immune cells. Now, you've probably heard we have 70% of our immune system in our gut. Have you heard that?
Yes, I have.
At least 70%.
That's right. At least.
I think as we go forward, we're probably going to find out we have a lot more than that.
Yes.
But mushrooms do a couple of really neat things once we ingest them. One thing that they do is they have special polysaccharides, which are sugar molecules. Don't worry, they're non-caloric. They don't amp up our sugar, but they are sugar molecules that our good bacteria, our lactobacilli, our probiotics will feed on. So they are selective in their prebiotic activity, and they will help bolster our microbiome, which is really our first line of defense. A second thing that they do is we have very specialized tissues in our digestive tract called the Peyer's patches. Don't worry, that's not going to be on the test, but that's where about 70% of our immune cells just hang out. And it's really a good design because if you think about your chances of swallowing a contaminant or a threat, or a pathogen, it's fairly good over human history. So they're in a good place to monitor everything that's coming through. Well, as mushrooms move their way and make their way through the digestive tract, they interact with these cells. They actually bind to these cells. The cells have special receptors that once they bind with the mushroom material, they become alert and aware. They don't go into hyperdrive. That's important. We don't want our immune system all switched on all at one time. That would be disastrous. But they become more aware of their surroundings, which is a beautiful way that mushrooms benefit us on a daily basis if we can find a way to get them into our wellness routine.
I totally agree. I mean, like you said, it just boosts our security for those pathogens coming into the body and just make those security guards even stronger, not necessarily.
And that's a great way that's a great way to describe them, Bryan. Those cells, those natural killer cells as macrophages, those are our security guards. That's really how they act.
They really are. Plus all the nutrients, like you said, polysaccharides. What else do mushrooms contain that can really help benefit our immune system?
Mushrooms are truly functional superfoods. When you take a look at how much is packed into these little powerhouses, they contain a full array of micronutrients, B vitamins, potassium, phosphorus, zinc. They have precursors to vitamin D. And I think you mentioned vitamin D earlier. We all recognize how important vitamin D is to immune health. And all mushrooms have a compound called ergosterol, which helps form vitamin D2 in our digestive tract. They also have terpenes. They have a very unique antioxidant that keeps our cells healthy called, I'm sorry.
Okay, it's one of those words.
They have phenolic antioxidants. They have ergothioneine. That's what my brain was trying.
That long word. I can never say that word anyway.
Ergothioneine is really cool. It's an amino acid that acts as an antioxidant, and mushrooms are a primary source for us. Yeah. So they are really, truly little powerhouses of all different kinds of nutrients and micronutrients, as we call them.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a product that I've been taking daily. It's called Stamina 7, the Stamina 7 product. Sort of break this down about why is it a benefit to a daily immune function?
Absolutely. That name throws people for a little bit, but to give you a background of why it's called Stamina 7, the owner and founder of Host Defense and Fungi Perfecti, our mother company, is Paul Stamets. And so he is a mycologist with over 40 years experience. He teaches other people how to cultivate mushrooms like we cultivate them. And those are his 7 favorite mushrooms to take on a daily basis. So we consider this sort of a very well-rounded daily mushroom multiple, not to take the place of a multivitamin, but a multiple mushroom formula that is going to benefit nearly every system of the body. There's a mushroom in there to benefit your lungs, your cardiovascular system, your liver, your digestive system, your brain, your neurological system, and all of them interact with our immune cells and our digestive tract and our microbiome, and help bolster our immune system on a daily basis.
And really just has that synergistic effect, right? I mean,
yes,
it's that orchestra of just helping that immune system balance and modulate and do its job more efficiently. So that's why I'm a big fan of mushrooms for that reason, because it's just got so many great benefits for keeping that immune system strong, healthy, like you said, without overstimulating, because we do not want to overstimulate the immune system.
We want a balanced immune response.
That's exactly right.
In balance. And there is some very interesting preliminary research on those 7 mushrooms together that show that using them in a formula actually amplifies their immunocompetency. Once we ingest them, then each mushroom species in that formula taken at the same serving size and same amount. So I think you said it, it's a synergistic, beautiful formula. It's definitely more than the sum of its parts.
Yeah, exactly. Well, break down some of the mushrooms. Like I know it's got the reishi, the maitake. So we'll break down each of those benefits and some of those Paul's favorite mushrooms that are in that product.
Absolutely. We'll start with the superstar lion's mane. And it's not a real lion's mane. Lion's mane is a beautiful edible mushroom. It tastes a lot like seafood. If you ever get a chance to try it, it's delicious. But it's in this formula because there have been several studies, plus a long history of clinical use, that shows that lion's mane can help support memory, cognitive functioning, neurological tissue repair in the body. It's very multifaceted in the way it affects us. Not only does it help with neurologic, like short-term memory recall, it can also be very antioxidant to neurological tissue, which is a wonderful benefit. And it helps. Yeah, it does. It helps promote immune function as well. You always have to keep that in the back of your mind. Right. And so we have lion's mane, we have reishi. Reishi is the mushroom of immortality. It's been used in traditional Chinese medicine for over 2,000 years. Reishi has been shown clinically and in scientific studies to benefit nearly every body system. We know it is super beneficial to our cardiovascular system. It helps the heart produce energy. It helps the blood vessels remain more pliable as we age. And it encourages antioxidant activity in the body in general, but specifically, we know that it's very antioxidant to the cardiovascular system. Yep. We also have chaga. Chaga is a very interesting mushroom. It's, speaking of antioxidant activity, that's probably what chaga is the best known for. It's been used historically to promote balance in certain body systems, our skin, our lungs, and our digestive tract. So what do all of those have in common, Bryan?
The skin, the digestive tract, and what was the third one?
The skin, the lungs, and the digestive tract. I'm putting you on the
epithelial cells.
You got it. Yes, they're all made up of epithelial cells. And chaga seems to be very antioxidant, specifically to epithelial cells. We have cordyceps. Cordyceps is a mushroom that athletes typically love because it helps with immediate energy. It's very energizing, but it doesn't energize you, say, in the way a cup of coffee would, by making your adrenal glands work harder. Cordyceps is actually an adaptogen, so it's wonderfully balancing for your adrenal glands. It helps oxygenate the tissue. It increases the volume of air that we can breathe. A certain human clinical trial showed that cordyceps may increase testosterone levels, but not outside of normal limits in male and female athletes. So this is a very, an energizing mushroom. We have maitake, as you mentioned. Maitake, I remember, Bryan, 30 years ago, I've been in this industry for a long time. I had a waiting list of people for maitake once it got approved and imported into this country. Right. But we've got to remember maitake has been used for decades in other countries to support immune health. Once maitake started being used more in the Western world, we noticed another benefit. Maitake may help benefit blood sugar levels within normal range. So it's a wonderful multifunctional mushroom. And then we have two that are probably less well known that are in this formula. A mushroom called misema, or mishima, sometimes you'll hear it called. This is a mushroom that has been used a lot in Japanese in their tradition. Okay, yeah. Mishima is a mushroom that is very balancing to the immune response. It's in there for that purpose, plus it increases or facilitates phase 2 liver detoxification, which we can't leave our livers out, right?
Not at all.
Really, really hard for us. And then Agaricus blazei, or royal sun blazei, also included for its brilliant support around immune function. So you have a very multifaceted 7 mushroom species formula that in preliminary studies has been shown to have an amplification of action by having that synergistic action of those 7 mushrooms together. Safe and wonderful for daily use. You're going to continue to reap the benefits from it over time. And there are a lot of ways you can incorporate Stamets-7. We have a lot of different delivery systems. So,
y'all just came out with a powder form of it, didn't you? Yes. Or at least, I know it's not new, but it's new for us as a store, but people are really starting to catch on. I think I'm even going to switch from the capsules to the powder as well, just for convenience of throwing it into my shake or my coffee. That
is a wonderful idea. I am a huge fan of the powders. I'm one of those people, you hear about that gets capsule fatigue. It's like, I have all my supplements I'm taking every day. I'm just sort of tired of that. So the beautiful thing about using mushrooms in a powder is the versatility. Mm-hmm. You can throw them in your daily smoothie. They're actually heat stable, so you can cook with them.
Nice, very nice.
Stews. And what I like about it is they don't change the taste of your food. They're
That's
very
right.
palatable. And that surprises a lot of people, especially people that may think they may not like the taste of mushrooms, but they're very palatable, very neutral taste. They won't change the taste or the color of your food. And it's just a
Yep.
great way to get them in
It
your
is.
daily mushroom serving.
It is.
Mhm.
And that is something unique about it. I want to just reemphasize that it really does not change the way things taste, because a lot of people, that what our clients said too, is it going to change the taste of my
Yeah,
food? Not at all. We haven't heard one
right.
complaint about that at all. So that's
That's
a very
great.
important thing. When you're wanting something to taste good for yourself, mushrooms do not alter that taste at all.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears for a second. Elderberry was an up and coming herb right before COVID came, and everybody started understanding the benefits of elderberry. And now y'all did something a little different than I've seen on the in the market. Y'all took mushrooms and you added elderberry to it, so you have an elderberry
Mhm.
syrup now, and I think it's
Mhm.
called what, elderberry plus? Yeah,
Elderberry
elderberry
plus.
plus. Tell me about that exactly right now, Gina.
Well, before we get into the mechanics of it, I just want to let you know that is the best tasting elderberry syrup I've ever had in my life. And
Really?
I've made my own. I'm an herbalist.
Yeah.
I've had tons of elderberry syrup out there. And I think one of the reasons it is so delicious is that we're using two forms of elderberry, of black elderberry in there. We're using elderberry juice concentrate.
Okay.
We're also using an elderberry extract, and we're combining those together. So both of them have been shown to be beneficial to the immune response, but they have slightly different compounds. So by combining them both together, we're really giving you this full spectrum elderberry syrup, but we're also supercharging that with 1 full gram of mushrooms. So that's like equivalent to 2 capsules worth per serving of reishi, chaga, and turkey tail. So this is a basically an elderberry plus syrup that tastes delicious, super versatile. My colleague Jerry loves to put it on. He has a little bit of a sweet tooth, so he likes that vanilla coconut ice cream, and he'll
Yes.
put it over the vanilla coconut ice cream. That's
That's
his
pretty
little
smart. I haven't
treat
thought about that.
every
That's a good
day.
idea.
Yes, but you can also put that if you're making like a berry smoothie, you can use it that way, but it is delicious just right out of the bottle
That's
as
right.
well.
So
Yeah.
I'm
Mhm.
sorry, just because of the ice cream thing, how young of kids can we give this to? Because that would be a great way to get kids to take it as well too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, that is what a lot of our customers get it for,
Yeah,
is their
do.
children,
Yeah.
because it's so, and anybody who is very picky with their palates, we have super tasters out there.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful way to get your daily mushrooms. All of these mushrooms have a long history of safety. They're not contraindicated for children. And of course, elderberry is not. We've used elderberry in our country in our traditional folk way for hundreds of years.
Mhm.
And I remember my grandmother used to make an elderberry pie that was just
Oh, wow.
delicious. So it is something that has a long history of safety that we can refer back to, and a perfect way to get your children a little bit of extra immune benefit every
Exactly.
day.
And
Mhm.
it's a syrup, not a pill. You don't got to worry about
Right.
swallowing it. And that makes it even a little bit better for everybody, because it's just an
Yes.
easy thing. Just take one serving a day. Is that, what is it, a
1 serving is
tablespoon?
2 teaspoons.
Teaspoons?
So
Okay.
some people like to mix it in some soda water or sparkling water. That's a wonderful way to do it. But you can just take it right out of the spoon. It's
Okay.
fine to do that. And
Makes it
it
easy.
is safe enough to take every day. Elderberry, of course, encourages antioxidant activity in the body. There's also research around how elderberry supports cardiovascular health, blood sugar levels within normal range. So it's a good herb to take on a daily basis. There's no problem with doing that.
Exactly. Have you
Mhm.
seen any research with elderberry and autoimmune function? Before I ask the
Uh,
question, I only ask because it's a
yes,
controversial subject still
it
right
is.
now, and I always like
It
to hear
is.
people's opinion on where are you at, because I'm still one that believes that elderberry is still good for even the autoimmune function side. We may not know what the dose is or so forth, but I haven't seen really complications
I
with
have
it yet.
I
People
have
say it's a
seen no
problem.
research. I've seen
Okay.
no research that shows that elderberry can facilitate or cause an autoimmune reaction. I have
Yeah,
not
I haven't
seen
either.
that.
I have
I
not
think
either.
that came from one herbalist's clinical observation with one of
Mhm.
her clients. And this client, from my understanding, had a lot of morbidities
Okay,
as well. So we don't know that correlation equals causation,
that's right.
but it was just one of those things that sort of took off. But just talking to my elders, my teachers, my own experience, and looking at the body of scientific research, I have never seen that happen.
I haven't
So
either. I just
I'm,
wanted to confirm that. That's good to know,
yes, I
Gina.
think it's more of a modulator, just like the mushrooms. I
I
think they
totally agree.
modulate the immune response.
And I
Yes.
love that word. I mean, that's why I like mushrooms and I love elderberry because of that
Right.
modulation function. You know, a lot
Right.
of people don't really maybe realize that echinacea is more stimulatory to the immune system, but elderberry and mushrooms are the modulating type. So it only
Very good
makes sense for
comparison.
both those crowds with autoimmunity or people just, immune dysfunction going on. It's very
Right.
good for helping to modulate. And so
Right.
that's why mushrooms are just fascinating to me. I think they got so many benefits, and I think it should be in everybody's routine daily at this point. So, what's
That's
your
what I
daily
try to get
routine?
people to do.
Exactly. So, I want to know what your daily routine is for the wintertime function. What are you taking on a daily basis?
Absolutely. And I do switch gears a little bit through each season because
Yeah,
sometimes we find that we need extra support in
that's
different
right.
areas. But heading into immune season, heading into the winter time, I definitely want to make sure that my immune system is alert every single day. So Stamets 7 powder goes into my morning smoothie every single day. I will take elderberry syrup. I don't take it every day, but I will sort of throughout the week, 2 or 3 times a week, have it sort of as a treat in some sparkling water. I, of course, make sure I'm getting sufficient vitamin D, sufficient zinc. I mean, this is a whole, we really need to make sure that we're not neglecting our nutrients, making
That's right.
sure we're eating whole foods and staying away from packaged processed foods. Those foods might make us feel full, but they're not giving us what we need to work with. So
Great
focusing
point.
on root veggies during the winter time, restorative foods, warming foods. That's sort of my strategy. I learned to eat with the seasons. So
Yeah,
I'm eating what I grew in my garden and I have in my cellar, in my root cellar,
very
trying
nice.
to give my body the nutrition that it needs. And then, of course, that extra benefit with the mushrooms every single
Yeah,
day.
I
And
totally
what's
agree.
interesting is over time, you'll start noticing other benefits. I think what a lot of people, they'll notice the lion's mane after, a couple of weeks, a month of taking
Mhm.
their, all of a sudden they can remember why they walked into the room or
That's
where they
right.
put their keys. Or with me and my experience with Stamets 7, I had a beautiful balancing action on my skin. And I think
Really.
that was the chaga and the reishi, but
Yeah.
I noticed that over time. So it's one of those multiple mushroom formulas that you can start noticing benefits the longer you take it.
Exactly. And being a
Mhm.
superfood, it has so many of those micronutrients to help support
True.
all different types of systems in the body. And that's why I really believe mushrooms is that type of superfood. But I
Yes.
also think it's important in wintertime that, people cut back on the sugars and the carbs, even though that's the holidays and we consume a little bit
It's
more. But
challenging.
it's very challenging, but
Right.
that definitely impacts the immune function. So
It
taking,
does.
taking your mushrooms, taking your elderberry, I think it's a great way to start along with good, like you said, lots of vegetables. We at least
Lots of
need to get more
veggies.
greens, moderate amount of protein and fats,
Right.
and then drink your water. Drink your water.
Drink that water, stay hydrated.
It's
And if
hard
you
in the
need it
wintertime.
warm, you can do warm water. That's the
Yes,
thing. That's what I've taken to doing is warm water with some lemon.
that's
It's
right.
fine. And it's good for the
Lemon,
digestive system.
lemon and your mushrooms. Just throw that
Lemon
right
in
in
my
there too as
mushrooms.
well. That's right. The
Yeah.
mushroom powder. It's a great way to do it.
That
But
would be a
yeah,
great way to do it. It would. And mushrooms also provide us with the added benefit around the holiday seasons because we all indulge a little bit
sure.
of helping the body have a more effective reaction to blood sugar levels that maybe fluctuate with the holidays and
Which they
intake.
do, yes. And
Right.
blood sugar has such an impact on your immune function. So the more we can do at modulating blood sugar function, it can also impact the immune function as well too. So the body's
Absolutely.
connected, and that's what I love about the body. Everything's
Yeah,
connected. It's a
true.
beautiful thing. Well, Gina, thank you so much for being on the show again today. This is just great information, and I know this is going to help a lot of people modulate their immune function through the winter time and hopefully have less sickness.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me, Bryan. It's always a pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Healthy Approach podcast. Be sure to subscribe if you like this podcast and help us spread the word by rating and sharing with your friends and family. If you'd like to learn more, go to sunflowershop.com. That's shop with 2 P's and an E, or visit us at one of our 2 locations in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.